The Supreme Court concluded that a woman's constitutional right to privacy should include a right to terminate her pregnancy. After the sweeping decision was handed down, the abortion laws of all 50 states were rendered null and void. What does that mean exactly? That basically the shorthand term is that 44 years ago, when Roe v. Wade happened, the Supreme Court allowed abortions on demand. What does that mean? It means that in the last 44 years, we have legally, in only the United States, murdered 58 million babies inside the safest place they should ever be, inside their mother's womb. 58 million. 58 million image bearers of God, created to show Him, created with value, created belonging to God. To give you some perspective, if right now every living human being was killed in the following states, it would be less than we've killed babies since '73. If everyone alive in these states died right now, we murdered them, it would be less than the babies we've killed. South Carolina, Louisiana, Kentucky, Oregon, Oklahoma, Connecticut, Iowa, Mississippi, Arkansas, Kansas, Utah, Nevada, New Mexico, West Virginia, Nebraska, Idaho, Hawaii, Maine, New Hampshire, Rhode Island, Montana, Delaware, South Dakota, Alaska, North Dakota, Vermont, and Wyoming. It's 26 states. If we wiped every living human being out of those states right now, brought them before a firing squad, shot them all in the head, it would be less than the babies we've killed. Can you imagine the reaction? Say the Nazis won, and they came over here, and they took those 26 states I just mentioned and killed every single person in them. Imagine that happening. And then imagine people saying, that's the Nazis' right. We can't tell them what they can and cannot do. They can do with their body what they want with their body. We would say, but what they're doing with their body is killing. That's not right. Further than that, imagine not only were those states wiped out, but then we started celebrating it. Not celebrating that people died, yeah, that's not great, but celebrating that they could choose and have right over doing what they wanted to do. And we marched. We called people bigots and sexists and misogynists who would, we call people all those things because we just don't want people to be murdered. On average, a baby is killed every 30 seconds in the U.S. via abortion procedures. That means even a short sermon of mine has 60 babies killed on average during that, with the thumbs up of our government. Less than 1% of abortions in America are because of rape or incest. Less than 1%. This is a big argument. What about those who are raped and incest? That's not the issue with murdering kids. That's not the issue. Less than 1%. What about women's health? Less than 6% of abortions in America have anything to do with the mother or the baby's health. Less than 6. So what do we do with the 93%? 93% of abortions in America are because the baby is simply unwanted. If you haven't seen the videos of just what these abortion procedures are like, you got to watch them. They're horrific. You got to show them to your friends. You got to share them any way you can so people see this is what abortion is. We say abortion like, oh, it's a women's health issue. No, it's not when we kill 30 million women since 1973. It's not a women's health issue that we're murdering women. Well, it is, but it's not in the way you're saying. It's a women's health issue that we should stop. How is this happening morally? That's one question we got to ask. That's a question I think a lot. How does this happen? Are we okay with this? Well, morally, because of many in their sin, they care more about what's convenient for themselves than what's good for others. Don't be fooled. I'm not drawing up a straw man argument. That's the issue. I don't want this baby. It would impede on what I want my life to be like, and so since the law says I can, I'll do away with it. Secondly, this is happening morally continually because those who know the truth mostly do nothing. That's you and me. Those who know what is right and know that it is murder, know that it is a baby, and know that it doesn't matter. You shouldn't murder innocents. The most we do sometimes is just share things on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, and that's about as far as it goes. How is this happening legally? Well, because according to lawmakers, especially in 73 in Roe v. Wade, they said that unborn babies are not yet human beings. They labeled them as subhuman. And so that's how the law passed, and that's what the reasoning was in their minds, that this isn't yet a full human being until it's born. And then the ultrasound got bigger and bigger and bigger, and then we started investigating more things scientifically. A lot of Christians did, because they said, that is absolutely not true. Life begins at conception, and they can't believe that someone would say that's not a human being. And so we had to step back and go, okay, how do we think through how to even explain that to someone that would deny something? So you go, yeah, it is. It's a human. It's just inside. It's not yet out. It's like, that's still a human. So for years and years and years we worked, and the abortion rates have gone down. This year, 2016, was the lowest it's been in the U.S. since 73. That's great, but there's still millions being slaughtered. But it happened because they said they're subhuman. I want to point something out to you. Who else in the history of America have we slaughtered by the millions and justified it in our consciences by saying they're subhuman? If you know history, that's exactly what we did with Native Americans. It's exactly what we did with just Africans in the slave trade that we brought over. We treated them whatever way we wanted, and we justified it to ourselves because it was convenient for us. We justified it as saying, the native, they're subhuman. So we slaughtered them. Those in the slave trade, the black man is not fully a human, is maybe 2/3 human. So we treat him as property and we kill him if we want. Now we look back at that and say, that is ludicrous. That the pigment of someone's skin would make us say they're not fully human beings, only white people are human beings. We look back at that, and everyone looks back at that. It doesn't matter who you are. You look back at that, except crazy Aryan Nazi people still today, maybe don't, but everyone logically thinking goes, that was horrific that we did that to slaves, that we did that to the Native Americans. And so take a little bit of a breath and have hope that someday, if we keep working, if we keep praying, if we keep fighting for innocent people, that we will then look back and say, can you believe it used to be legal? We called them subhuman? And then we will have laws that protect babies, protect human beings. My hope is that that's what would happen.